Shalom Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and we're going to kind of try to take care of two issues at one time here. I got a call from a good friend of mine, Rick, Rick's last name is Warren, but it's not the Rick Warren of Saddleback Church, so please don't get all nervous when I say that. Poor Rick couldn't help the way some other guy named that other guy's child, however you want to call that. Anyway. Rick has his Facebook page, End of Days Countdown. He's been on our program many times before. I appreciate his stance on the issues over in the Middle East. So we're going to join in with his program live, and I'm going to bring him on as well on our program here because we're going to talk a little bit more about this issue going on in the Middle East. President Trump moving out the moving out the troops out of Syria. Now, I got a lot of flack from people yesterday when Congressman Tom Garrett came on because I was told, why didn't you challenge him more? That wasn't the issue. It wasn't the issue why I was bringing on Congressman Tom Garrett. I brought him on because he was the first American politician that I saw that really took on Erdogan the way he did as basically a genocide maniac in the Middle East. And although I have a lot of friends here that are supportive of President Bashar al-Assad, which I am as well, in the region there is the only means of a stability of Syria and him fighting for his life. And I do believe that President Bashar al-Assad has tried to protect the different ethnic minorities in his countries, including the Christians. I still appreciated the fact that Congressman Garrett brought to the table the ethnic cleansing that is being done against the Christian populations, the Yazdis, and the Kurds as well. And I know that President Bashar al-Assad has tried to work out some of those issues with the Kurdish people even before this situation in Afrin began to happen, or Afrin is actually the way to say the name of the city there in northern Syria, and the Turks came in with their jihadist forces and have just murdered these people. And also, too, I want to clarify one issue as well, and that is, I've always been that we shouldn't have been in the Middle East from the beginning. I didn't think U.S. troops should have been in Syria from the very start of this war. We have created this conflict under the Obama administration, this civil war that got started there. We allowed ISIS to come in. We did not do anything to stop them. We saw this with former Secretary of State under Obama's administration. Gosh, I can't think of his name. I don't know why I'm blank on that for the moment, but anyway, we created that problem. And yes, Israel helped to do that as well, and the Saudis even more so with their massive funding of this jihadist war against President Bashar al-Assad. As I stated often, the scripture in Isaiah 17 says that the fortress of Ephraim will cease because of the demise of Damascus. It's clear. And as you go down through the scripture, God holds Israel accountable. And not just the nation of Israel in the Middle East, but he's talking about all 12 tribes, which encompasses the United States, the NATO members, and the rest of the world practically, where the 12 tribes of Israel have gone to, and how that there is so much influence in the government from people that are supportive of Israel that just go in there and wipe out Syria. Why? It's your brothers. Your brothers are there. In fact, they're the matriarchs of Israel. We're all from Syria as well. So my thought, though, is just pulling out the way that Trump is doing it is endangering the Kurdish population as well. What I would have done if I was President Trump, I would have gotten with President Bashar al-Assad and say, look, we need to move our troops out of the country. But rather than leaving a vacuum, we're going to start off by honoring the agreement we made with Russia to move in the Syrian forces into Al-Tant, allow your troops to take over this region here. And as we begin to move our troops out, we need to have your troops coming in and filling in behind there to help to protect the Kurds. And as President Putin said, give the Kurds an autonomy. So these are the things I'm looking at. I'm going to get some more issues here. Let me see if by chance, if Rick has actually got his own page up and running yet. I don't see it on there anywhere. Let me just send him a message. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that as well. Just to see where he's at there, because Rick has got some very good insights on this as well. And He put his middle initial in there so you would know that he is not that other guy. There he is. All right. So, Rick, how do I get in here? I know you're there.
Got a really rainy day here.
Okay.
Lots of water around. Listen, I wanted to come...
how do I get in here?
Regarding Trump's decision to withdraw troops out of
let's
Syria.
see.
I was going to talk about this yesterday, but
Come on, Rick.
I really just didn't have the...
Join us in
I
here.
mean, I'm in shock. I'm in utter shock, along with
All right.
the Pentagon and the Department of Defense, the CIA, the National...
Well, we're there. We'll see.
Homeland Security,
As I wait
and Israel. We're just in shock.
for Rick to try to bring us in there, I'm going to go back to some other issues here.
Hezbollah,
And
Iran, all the enemies.
and just
Why he made this decision, just willy-nilly.
we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how that works out there. I don't know. We were wanting to see if we could try to do this. Rick's got a couple of good sites on. Let me just real quick tell you about those. The End of Day Countdown, and he's got a new one he just started also. I forget the name of that one there, but you might want to check him out on Facebook there. He's a good, solid Christian brother, and I really appreciate Rick. Anyway, let's continue on. Let me lower the volume some more though, because
All the air power.
that way we can discuss things, and maybe we can get Rick in on here as well. Anyway, here's another thing that I noticed is interesting. Before I go into the Patriot cells there, notice what happens here. Trump calls with Turkish leader to U.S. pullout from Syria. And basically what Trump wants to know is, Erdogan, can you go in there and finish taking out ISIS? Now he tells the American public on the Twitter page that, oh, by the way, we're pulling all of our troops out of Syria. Now, I appreciate that. I really do. Because I want to see our forces out of there. But at the same time, it does create a vacuum. Even as General Mattis brought up, the defense secretary, he brings it up. And of course, now he's resigned. You're going to create a major vacuum. When you do that, it's going to bring Iran in. Well, Iran's already there. It's not like Iran's not there. But then you're also going to cause, though, the Kurdish people to be actually genocide. Erdogan is a genocidal maniac. And this is why we had Congressman Garrett on. I didn't need to bring Congressman Garrett in there to say the truth about Erdogan and what's happening to the Christians and the Kurds and the Yazidis inside of Syria, only to turn around and say, oh, by the way, you don't know anything about Assad and you're blaming him for all these chemical attacks. We did bring up the issue of the chemical attacks because I could see that he had gone by the mainstream media as far as who had perpetrated the chemical attacks inside of Syria. So therefore, I felt there was a great opportunity to bring that issue up as well about Assad not being the one guilty of gassing his own people. That'll give the congressman a chance to look at this as well. And I actually sent him the video that we did on this. So that was the purpose, and this is why it was not about, let's just beat up the congressman today. But rather, let's get some of his insights. And also, I appreciated the fact that he was willing to go to Syria on his own dime. He paid for it himself. And people were making, I saw this one comment and everything, yeah, you're just wasting tax dollars money over there, and I'm like, did you not listen to the interview? The man did this at his own expense because he cares about what's happening in that part of the world. Of course, he's a former captain in the military. It's a great risk to his own life to go over there because if he got captured, congressman and a former captain, well, the enemy would have loved to have had him. So that's why we were sharing the information with him. Now, a couple of things that I see that's happening here is the fact that, one, the U.S., President Trump, besides the fact as he asked Erdogan, can you take care of business, now he's going to make America great again. U.S. approves Patriot missile sale worth $3.5 billion to Turkey. The State Department says this has informed the U.S. Congress of the plans to sell a Patriot missile package to Turkey. So besides the F-35s, now the Patriot missile system there, it shows us two things. One, we make America great again by killing our neighbors and not trying to bring peace to the rest of the world. And secondly, we're helping to protect the terrorists in the region. Now, Putin's going to wake up one day and find out that Erdogan is not on his side. I don't know why Putin hasn't figured this out already, after the guy got his own plane shot down by Erdogan, but then embraces him. But I will tell you this. I have friends in Russia, in Russian media, that have said to me, people that are way up the ladder in Russian media, that said that Putin knows that Erdogan is not the best guy to have. But he's trying to weigh out the options under the circumstances that are going on in the Middle East. But then again, I don't, Putin, I appreciate what he's done to try to help protect Syria, but I don't see President Bashar al-Assad being truly given back the power of his country, but rather other countries trying to take over and divide up Syria into a bunch of little small states there. That's another thing that I liked about Congressman Garrett, is the fact that he was against the idea of making a bunch of ethnic states in the Middle East region, which, by the way, is a Zionist agenda. Someone said, oh, you're just a Zionist. I'm not a Zionist. Now, I was a Zionist. I'll admit to that. But I am a believer in Yeshua that loves his people, the Jewish people, but I will not condone the sins of the government, just like Americans don't condone the sins of our government when our government is doing wrong. That's the way I like to stand. All right, now, so when it comes on, and we got Rick texting right now, let him know I'm here. Go to my live feed. I am here. Okay. So let me get him over here again. So Rick, you are on. Man, you don't even know you're on, do you? You're on, and
Right now,
so
I just posted.
All right. Let me voice text him. Rick,
Twitter on it.
you are live on Israeli News Live.
Injured, and I think there's 1 or 2 killed. Palestinians. So that's going on right now. But keep an eye on Turkey and see what they do.
Well, Rick, keep on talking.
Just handed Russia. I'm sorry, handed Syria.
You know how hard that is to be on a live broadcast and somebody texting you at the same time?
Anyway.
So poor Rick is trying to multitask right now, and it's not working very well. And I know the feeling, Rick, because I'm the same way. So come on, Rick.
Be in prayer. As the Lord has
Well,
admonished
let's
us,
see.
admonished us to.
Let me tell him again. I am here, Rick.
I think
That's all right. We can always check with him on the next time around there. So
very.
we'll bring in Rick next time around there. I need to bring him in and share some insights with you there. When he's on his own program like that, he's just speaking from his heart there. When I get him in here, he kind of opens up a little bit more. He says, I'm in the wrong video. Okay. Oh, gosh. So, at any rate there. So we continue on here real quick, guys. The other thing is as well, Trump is, or this was the one here, Trump asked to clear the rest of Syria of ISIL, and or ISIS in that case there. But here's what I think is really going to go on here, and I'm going to kind of sum this up in this broadcast saying this here, and that is that what I think is actually going to happen is that, let me just see, maybe we get him on here. Let me just see here. I'm gonna call him. So, but at any rate, the thing is that I think it's going to open up the door for a war against Israel. All right, hey, you're on live. You've been on live on Israeli News Live a couple of times already, brother. You have no idea that you're live, but you're live. And I couldn't figure out how to get in on there, but I was actually on the video, but I guess I didn't know how to actually log in the right way. I just kept sending you messages through Facebook. But listen, while we got you in here, Brother Rick, I want to talk to you a little bit about the issues that you were just discussing on the end of day's countdown on your Facebook page there. So we have you on the audio part of the broadcast here. Share with us some of your thoughts. Well, we lost him. Okay. We'll do it next time. Let me just send him that message real quick, guys. All right. Let me turn off the ringer part. At any rate, though, so the thing is what I'm concerned about that's going to go on here is that we're going to end up in a situation to where it may be that U.S. troops are being moved out of Syria because a war with Iran is inevitable. But here's the other problem, though, and a lot of you may not know this. President Trump has ordered the last aircraft carrier that is set up in the Middle East back home, along with the pullout. So there is no more air power by the United States there practically every, in fact, let me just see here if I got it on here. Yeah, the CV locations here. This is the United States Navy and where our Navy is located at this very moment in time around the world, all right? This is the aircraft locations. All of our aircraft carriers, all 11 of them are in port right now, all right? We have one that's in the Middle East right now that is also going to be headed home now. All right? It's headed back home as well. So I was sitting here looking at the chart on the aircraft carrier and their locations, and we are doing similar to what Obama did. I forget exactly what year it was, where Obama also pulled in all the aircraft carriers. Everybody was worried about a nuclear strike on America while all of our carriers are in port. It doesn't mean that our subs are in port, but all of our ships are in port. Now that's from what I've been seeing here. I've been looking at some different issues as relating to what's happening here in the Middle East there. And it looks like we got a bad situation coming. And even though we are pulled out there, we still have troops in Iraq. We still have troops in Turkey. We still have troops, and we have air power in Turkey. We have Air Force there. But Trump may have actually moved our troops because of a war that he knows is coming. And we can't discount that possibility. Israel, we know, is getting ready to go to war with Lebanon. They're using to justify this all the terror tunnels that have been dug inside of Israel, but Israel had full ability to destroy these tunnels from the very beginning back in 2014 when they began, but turned a blind eye to it in order to justify this future war, and then also to bring Iran into the war as a result of that. So again, it's a destabilization of the entire region. And Erdogan is going to be given all of northern Syria and everything to the east of the Euphrates as a reward to broaden the borders of Turkey, as a reward for his dirty role in the genocide of entire groups and populations of people. Now, you may be our friends that are Syrians that don't care for the Kurds. But you got to remember one thing: the Kurds have been fighting very hard to defeat ISIS, at least some part of that. I have saw where people have said the Kurds have also helped to fight with ISIS. Maybe under American leadership that may have been so. I don't know all the stories on that. But the thing is, it's a major mess right now in the Middle East. Major mess. And the last part of what this battle is going to be is winding down. And it's not going to be good. I'm actually going to put together, by the way, too, for those of you that watch Patreon, I have decided to include in our Patreon video this weekend sometime. I'm hoping to edit and upload where I talk about the move to the New World Order and some of those major key figures in America that have helped to shape it that way and to make sure that President Trump takes us in the direction of a New World Order. That's something I've been speaking at these conferences, and that is something I am planning on uploading this weekend on Patreon. So if you would like to get a glimpse of that, that I will do. And we are looking at seriously turning in the conference, possibly in Tennessee with Mark and Susan that invited us up there. I'm looking at putting that one together. So Brother Mark, if you happen to be listening, or Sister Susan, we're looking at maybe turning that into a DVD and making that available. I will not put that on the internet. That's just too much risk involved in that video there. And also don't forget, and I keep forgetting to mention this as well, the conference coming up here in January in Portland, Oregon. That's soldiersofthelion.com. That's how you would register for the conference there. It can be Oregon, January 18th through the 20th. L.A. Marzulli, myself, and my wife will be speaking there. I'll include this in the links here for you on YouTube. So let me just copy that real quick. I'll go in there right now and add that in the description area there. And go ahead and save it. That way you guys have got that link under the description. Just click on that and you can sign up for that conference there. prices, stuff like that. I think there's a contact information for Bonnie Harvey from Hebrew Nation Radio that'll be sharing that insight. And I'm planning on doing too, speaking of Hebrew Nation, not Hebrew Nation Radio by no means, but the Hebrew Roots Movement. Something I'm planning on doing a very serious video about in the very near future, about how that there has been much infiltration and from the very beginning of this movement in order to draw Christians back to Judaism. And you may not realize what the ultimate goal of this was. There have been CIA operatives, FBI infiltrations into the organization. There are leaders that work with them, that work also with Mossad and others, and Jesuits that have infiltrated these organizations here to be able to get the people to move towards Judaism. And in fact, it is the one group of people that have had the largest number of members of any organization in Christianity in the world was the Hebrew Roots Movement that have gone back to Judaism. And it was actually a government plot that was, well, I won't go into all the details on that now. But anyway, we're going to go into a broadcast about that in the very near future so you can see what was really going on in behind the scenes. I'm Steve Benoon with Israeli News Live. Sorry about the little confusion there. We were kind of hoping that that would work out. Did not work out, so we won't try that in the near future. Anyway, bless you all. Shalom.